Peace.
Well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode on a phenomenal weekend of a show that is key and essential to mankind in the world of professional wrestling as Saturday afternoon's main event. Pretty peculiar week this week. A lot happened, but I feel that before we get into these topics, I have to introduce myself to you individuals once again. Guys, this is getting old. I don't understand why I continue doing this, but for the sheer responsibility of having to do it, after 4+ years of doing this, if somehow, someway you still do not know who in the blue hell I am, I suggest you go back to school or go into your local library, get the biggest dictionary you can find, preferably Merriam-Webster, and look me up under the word phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the phenomenal one. And of course, like I said, welcome to Same. Again, big wrestling week. A lot happened. A lot to be looking forward to. This is going to be the year where wrestling genuinely goes into a renaissance. But instead of going ahead and talking about what is at stake, let me go ahead and introduce to you guys my co-host, my brother from another mother and dimension. Guys, I would like to introduce to you the one and only limousine riding, jet flying, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun who is not having a hard time holding his alligators down. So without further ado, guys, give me 2 claps and a Pete Snake. There we go.
There we go. Do I get an air horn? Like DJ Z used to do back in the TNA days?
Hey guys, only Peep Snake.
Yes, of course. We are here. Another great Saturday. We're glad you joined us. Of course, as usual, you can't get we give you the idea of how to start a great Saturday afternoon. And by doing that, we give you the 3 tenets, which becomes the heartbeat of a Saturday afternoon. And that is, of course, laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. That's the mantra that works every single week for Saturday afternoon's main event. There you go.
Indeed. Well, welcome to the show, my friend. Of course, glad to have you back on another great Saturday afternoon. Of course, guys, we do have another co-host. He is currently technical difficulties on Peeps' end. Peeps, you good?
Yeah, well, I'm good.
Officially back into the new year. This is already happening to us, guys.
Yes.
But it's okay because, like I said, it's genuinely okay. Our other co-host will be joining us soon. Currently having some trouble going ahead and logging in. He'll be here in a few short moments. But it's okay because here on Same, like Pete said, we have a mission statement, and that's to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. So while Mr. 411 is currently handling his situation, we'll go ahead and make sure that we deliver on our mission statement to you guys, the fans. But before we get into everything, we just want to say thank you for going ahead and tuning in. Whether you are on Twitch, whether you are on Twitter, whether you are on YouTube, we appreciate all the love. If you guys want to go ahead and always keep up with us, if this is your first time here, follow us on our social media platforms. We would enjoy that. We have Instagram being at Saturday Afternoons _main event, Twitter being Saturday Main, and of course TikTok, where we go ahead and also post wrestling news and memes for your enjoyment, being Saturday Afternoons ME. So look, it's okay. Let's go ahead and get this show started.
Yes.
In the words of one Chris Jericho, open up the bubbly. Because when you hear this, it's time for one thing and one thing only. It is time for 3 Road Talk all of the professional wrestling news you can get here on Same that consists within the squared circle. So look, peeps, first order of business, we have a new WWE champion. And he is the Scottish warrior / psychopath,
Yes.
Drew McIntyre. Of course, for those who watched SmackDown last night, we all know, look, this happened. It finally happened. What me and my co-host here, Peeps Nate, and our other co-host, Mr. 411, have been talking about for the last couple of months. They put the strap on Drew. About damn time, ladies and gentlemen. It took them long enough. Of course, last night being a 3 stages hell match, first match being a wrestling match, which Drew took the first fall. Cody won the second fall within the Falls Count Anywhere match, and then the third and final fall being decided inside a steel cage, in which a returning Jacob Fatu ends up coming across Drew McIntyre as he's trying to exit out the cage through the door. He stops Drew for a second. Cody, being Cody dumbass Rhodes, decides to go ahead and antagonize the Samoan Werewolf, in which the Samoan Werewolf fought back on Cody, putting him in a corner, delivering some blows, and that prompted Drew to escape the cage via door, land his 2 feet on the mat, and win the WWE title. Peeps, how do we feel that Drew McIntyre is now champion?
I'll give you one action.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
That's what should have happened.
Does it have to be a slow applause, though, peeps? Like, I mean, we can do better for Drew. I mean, honestly, the man went ahead and finally got the WWE title in his hands again.
Yes. Without question. Without question. I think we have been calling for this for quite some time, going as far back as WrestlePalooza.
Indeed.
We know that this is when it should have happened, and even going back even further than that during the Clash in Paris, when we all thinking McIntyre, it would make sense if you put the belt on him then, or you did something along those lines of internationally. We know how big of a draw McIntyre is, especially in Europe. Going this far back, and now here we are, 2026, after they did their show of SmackDown out in Germany. It took the WWE to leave the country to put the strap on Drew McIntyre. That's insane. But I'll digress. But in any event,
first one of the day.
The first one of the day. Basically, here's what I think happens. First off, it opens up a huge amount of storylines. Certain things that we'll probably talk about later on in the show. But also, it puts it where it's rightfully should be. On the waist of probably the best heel in the company right now. He is right now the most cerebral heel. The things that he does to antagonize works. And even more so, it's not as if, okay, he's a heel, but he can't go in the ring. He has been consistently putting on match after match after match of really good quality matches that he's had in the last couple of years. So this was deserved. It was well warranted. And it actually frees up Cody from this title reign to see where they go creatively afterwards. But if you think about it, I love what Drew does on social media. After he wins the belt, there is a picture of him in his hotel room, in his bed, snuggling up with his championship belt. That's the kind of thing that I really enjoy about how they're using social media to advance things in ring to kind of blur that line. So it was well done.
Indeed. I wholeheartedly agree with you, peeps. It needed to happen sooner or later.
Yes.
And the fact that it did the fact that Drew can now call himself champion once more, beginning in the year of 2026, opens the door for so much. But peeps, I do have to go ahead and tell you that, it's funny you spoke about that picture. It's funny that you went ahead and made notion to that photo, because in all honesty, I feel like that picture is going to be the next meme for the world of pro wrestling. And the only reason I say that is because I already had it to show on the screen.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and quote somebody that usually is on Same real quick. What a champion.
Yes.
But in all seriousness,
yes.
Congratulations to Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
Great job. Hope to see amazing work from you rather next week. It doesn't even have to be soon. It doesn't have to be 2 weeks from now. Look, we're ready to see what you do, my friend. But
yes,
from there, we move from the world of WWE to the world of corruption. And guys, I'm not talking Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
For a change.
For a change, exactly.
Yes.
Get this, guys. The $1 million son and Ponzi scheme criminal, Ted DiBiase Jr., has began his trial for fraud.
Yes.
You told me this some 14 years ago, that this would happen if I were to sit there and wake up from a coma from 2010 and say, oh, whatever happened to Legacy? I know they broke up after Randy Orton beat the both of them in a match at WrestleMania 26, but what else happened? What's Cody? Oh, Cody's WWE champion. Oh, how about Randy? Is he still wrestling? Yes, he's still wrestling. Oh, that's perfect. What about Ted DiBiase? Oh, he's on trial and he might go to jail for life.
Yeah.
Who beats this up?
Yes.
But, peeps, Ted DiBiase Jr., jeez, what are we doing? Okay, peeps, how we feeling about this?
A $77 million welfare fraud scandal. That is what we're doing here. In the state of Mississippi, which for those that follow politics and certain things, we know that Mississippi has been the poorest state of the union as far as money, healthcare, those kinds of things.
Indeed.
They bring in per capita the smallest amount of money in the country. The fact that this would even be a thing, this was the same welfare scandal that you've heard if you've been following sports that has names like Brett Favre attached to it. Those that are into following these kinds of things know that there are celebrities that have been attached to some of these things. Right now, Ted DiBiase Jr. is looking at a lot of time in jail. And this is something that you never thought you would see come out of the wrestling business. We've heard of a lot of other wrestlers going through legal issues and legal problems. Nothing like this. We know that his brother Brett was involved in part of the scheme. We know that his father, Ted DiBiase Sr., was looked at as somebody that was mentioned within the lawsuit, but was found to have nothing on him. But the name DiBiase has been sullied a lot because of the scandal. And it's kind of crazy.
Well, peeps, we all thought we would have saw a Legacy reunion in this era.
I understand everybody has a price, but this is getting ridiculous,
Yeah, he certainly has a price to pay once he drops the soap in jail. But you know what? I digress.
There you go. $77 million, and the only thing that we get out of this is 2 I digresses on the show. That's what the price is.
Indeed, indeed. But from there, we move to the world of WWE once more. We're going to go ahead and review this past week's Monday Night Raw. Raw being held in the Upside Down Stranger Things themed. Seems like they weren't no more in Brooklyn. They entered Hawkins, Indiana.
Yes.
I would have thought they would have cut the gimmick shows, even though that really wasn't needed. But it's okay. It's okay. I won't say much. But
yes,
Pete, the one match you were talking about a lot. Braun Breaker versus CM Punk for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes.
Ended with CM Punk winning the match.
Yes.
Where do we go from here, peeps?
Well, this puts a lot more emphasis on what happens during the Royal Rumble. We know if a lot of people, the way that this was booked and the way that the attention was shown on the card, it looked really as heavily in the favor of Braun Breaker. This looked like this was going to be all but set in stone a coronation, and it wasn't. First of all, it was a good match, and ironically, I was there to watch it in person. It was one of the better matches that I've seen Braun Breaker have, including how he has improved his work rate in ring. The two issues that happened within the match is, one, there was the Hurricane Rana spot off the top, which looked like he almost decapitated CM Punk with. And there was a spot later on where they went and did it again, and you could see CM Punk kind of help him up while he was going through it the second time. The other spot was the clothesline off the top, which is one of those moves that Braun Breaker does as part of his repertoire in big matches. He doesn't do it in every match, but in those matches that are going to be 15, 20, 25 minutes long, he usually will break this move out and went through the table. And it looked like a car accident on the opposite side of the ring. It was insane to watch. The sound of the table breaking, it was crazy. But it was also deafening by the fan support and everything that happened there. So, yes, it was a really very well done match. There was chaos and shenanigans, as we all thought was going to happen. The Vision showed up, and it didn't matter because CM Punk was able to still win the match.
Indeed, peeps. But, as we sit here and we're talking about the Raw review, let's go ahead and finally bring in an individual who is known for his rawness on the show and off the show. Hello, ladies. But, look, if you want to go ahead and, get all of the good stuff when it comes down to same, or even if you're not watching a show and you just need dark humor or just humor in general, you want to go ahead and look forward to a good time, all you got to do is just pick up your cellular device, like myself here, go to your phone app, and dial the numbers 411. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of Morton's Law, our good friend and dear co-host, Mr. Christopher Morton, Mr. 411.
Hi, guys. Oh, it wasn't going wrong, guys. Sorry. Wasn't going wrong, guys.
Ain't that just great?
Did you guys talk about the title change already?
Yes.
Yes, we have already talked about the title change, my friend.
Wait, can I get 30 seconds on it?
Go for it.
Okay, so while I was happy with the result of Drew winning, deservedly so, we talked about all the work he's put in over the months to earn that new contract that he got. I was bittersweet with the finish. Now, I get it. The cowardly heel climbs out of the cage to win. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but part of me just wanted to see him get a pin over Cody. Like, I feel like he's earned that. And I know they still want to protect Cody, whatever plans they have going forward. I get it. But again, I mean, I understand the Jacob Fatu, inserting him into that to do it. It's just sometimes things are overbooked to protect guys when occasionally they can take a loss. It's okay. I don't think it's gonna hurt Cody. And I by the way, the fans, let's be honest, how great were the fans?
Yes.
I mean, the fans were amazing.
They wanted that title change, as did, I'm sure, a lot of people. And it's not even a knock on Cody. This is where it gets misconstrued. It's about the work Drew has put in. Listen, we talk about the business being exposed with Unreal and everything else that people know about the business. People know what Drew has done and his long career and what happened with COVID and his short reign as champion. He has earned this. So, I just didn't love the finish. What did you guys say about that finish?
So, within that sense, I'll go ahead and catapult off of what you're saying right here. When it comes down to Drew and the way that he won, I feel like it opens up the door for a lot more. I don't know if you've been privy to like everything else that's been happening on SmackDown. You have individuals like Matt Cardona, individuals like Trick Williams, individuals like who else can I possibly go ahead and name out of this group here?
You still have Sami Zayn who wants to try and get that push as well.
Roman, who mentioned this back at War Games, right? You know, all of these individuals are gunning for the undisputed WWE title. Everybody wants the title. Yes. They've made it known to Cody that they're coming for the title. Randy Orton, even one of the first ones to go ahead and sit there and say it to him, right? Now, insert Jacob Fatu. I don't think he's no longer mid-card. This man is now in the main event scene because of the fact that he attacked Drew. So now there's more implications where it's kind of like Attitude Era 99 into 2000. So many main stars want the title. Maybe Triple H might go ahead and do something where, like 99, he started playing hot potato with the title. You know, every single one of these individuals are sitting here and like, you know, they're getting title shots. Or one of these days, look, who knows? Freaking Randy Orton might actually become 15-time world champion.
Listen,
you know?
I listen, Vince Russo and the way he was booking back then, it made sense for the Crash TV aspect. And I don't know, I'm not saying you can't do it once in the blue, you can't do the hot turn and then do it again and then whatever. I just feel like Drew can't be another transitional champion. I'm not saying he has to have a long reign or anything.
I wouldn't say he would be a transitional champion. I would say he holds the title for a good amount of time, but I don't think he drops it back to Cody. No, this chase has to actually mean something. And I'm going to get into it later, why I feel like certain things will happen the way they will happen. But as of right now, I think Drew holds the title past Royal Rumble. I think Drew holds the title past Elimination Chamber. I think Drew McIntyre walks into WrestleMania as WWE champion.
I hope
that's
you're right.
how much I think. Mm-hmm. That's how much I think of it. Because there's no way they're going to have Drew go ahead and win like this in Berlin just to drop it to Cody and Saudi. There's no way. There's no way.
And it makes more sense for him to finally get the reward of going into WrestleMania as champion, as opposed to chasing, which is what he did when he first won the belt and then tried to go after it the following year in Tampa.
Exactly.
Rich, do you realize you and I just had the longest conversation we ever had without Nate chiming in to say something?
It's funny enough. I don't know if he was agreeing with us or if he was just sitting there like, I get to not have to use my voice for once. You know, the man's a human encyclopedia half the time. So I mean, hey, it's okay, peeps. Look, you got your little 4-minute vacation, okay? But in all duality, we were talking about the Raw review, and when it came down to the CM Punk Braun Breaker match, Chris, what did you think of that?
Well, I mean, should we get into the botch?
I think we should. I genuinely think
listen, it was an okay match. It wasn't great. It was good. It was slow at times. The finish surprised me. I thought they would do something else to, not so much, again, we talk about the protection of people and beating Braun as it early hurt him. I guess not. It's okay. I just feel like I would have liked a different finish. The botch was unfortunate. Did they determine whose fault? Because I know Stevie Richard had done a video determining whose fault it was. I didn't get a chance to watch a video. What did you guys hear about the botch?
Well, genuinely, from what I heard about the botch, as much as I can't go ahead and put too much flack on Braun, because genuinely this was his first main event, I do have to go ahead and sit there and say that I feel like it didn't hurt him as much. I don't know if I'm the only individual that feels that way. I feel like within the whole match, like you said, Chris, it was good. It wasn't bad. I don't think it was like 5-star or anything, you know, kind of like Dave Meltzer's, like, you know, ratings of people in the Tokyo Dome. I digress.
Wait. They didn't drop each other in their neck 20 times. They didn't go falling out of the ring 8 times.
And in the words of Peeps, no acai DDT moonsault.
I'm sure Dave may have given it 2.5 stars.
2 if we're lucky here,
right?
You know. But in all duality, I feel like Punk did so much where Breaker's finish is still protected.
Yes.
Punk as champion is still protected. I feel like the botch was just the botch. I feel like, okay, look, in the heat of the moment, you're trying to go fast. You're not slowing things down. Something happens. Okay, boom, mistake. It's okay. Because they still try to keep up the momentum throughout the rest of the match. Yeah. So and for me, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, there seemed to be a genuine concern in the crowd after the botch that somebody was hurt, especially the way Punk was like slumped over holding his head. There were a lot of people that thought he had some kind of a concussion. We know he's had concussions in the past. So I think a lot of people thought that was what happened. And going to Chris's point, as far as what the botch would have done if Punk had gotten hurt, or if he had gotten hurt, what would that have done from the people looking over his push? Well, is he really ready yet? Is he too high strung, or whatever was the case? To Punk's credit, after the botch, as I said before, they went and did the move over again later. They gave it just enough space so that they can do it over. And then Punk made sure he held Breaker long enough so that he can go ahead and do the Hurricane Rana again.
Yo, there was a fan in the front row that, don't try it again. Don't try it. I swear I heard it. Don't try it. I didn't want to see another botch.
Yeah, New Yorkers, man, you got to go ahead and give it to the Brooklyn crowd. I have to say.
Yes,
how did you
Brooklyn
feel about
fans.
it, knowing that you were ringside for that? How did you feel?
It was hilarious to hear all the fans behind us and the fans on the side as they were doing all of what they were doing. But yeah, that chant that you heard, it was loud. It was very audible. So everybody did hear that chant too. So yes, but yeah, the audience was really, really into the match. There were a lot of fans for Braun Breaker, rooting for Braun Breaker to win this match. They didn't necessarily boo Punk, but kind of like what Chris said, it's more along the lines of they think that some people might deserve it more at a certain time, or they're just ready to see something new happen.
Wait, I'm sorry, did I hear that correctly? You were sitting ringside?
I was a friend of mine was able to get me a ticket to get out there, and I was able to go.
Elbows with high executives and Netflix. What's going on here, Nate?
I'll explain everything to you when the show is over.
You guys do have to understand that before all of this, Peeps was friends in high school with Vince Sr. Therefore, he gets ringside tickets to all of these WWE shows, okay? We talk a lot about Green Shirt Guy, but Peeps is the ultimate Vladimir, okay? Let's just keep it a good 50.
Now, Nate's is going to be on Steph's podcast next week.
You know what? He's gonna tell a story about how he saw a young Paul Heyman in the garden taking Andre's photo with Vince Sr.
I'm the one that gave him the film for his camera. Go figure.
Good grief, man. But as we move from the main roster here in the world of WWE, we're gonna move to developmental. We're gonna talk about NXT. Femi, after winning at New Year's Evil, is now vacated the NXT title.
Yes.
Obafeminis.
Yes.
We have reached the climax of the main roster.
Rejoice. Rejoice. The ruler.
The ruler is going to the main roster. I repeat.
Yes.
The ruler is going to the main roster.
I'm confused by that. I'm confused. Can I jump in? I'm confused. Here's why.
Absolutely.
With the way everything is overbooked today with 3 and 4 ways, they could have easily put him in one of those matches and not had him be pinned. Like, why did he vacate?
Come to think about it, didn't Oscar do the same thing?
I believe so. Yeah.
You want to make somebody look dominant going into the main roster. I mean, why not Obafemi? Can you imagine now knowing, okay, the man didn't lose the NXT title. He chose to vacate it just to move up one. And now probably come Royal Rumble time, he's going to be in the ring with guys like Brock Lesnar, an individual like Walter, right? And you want to be able to have a selling point to where he's standing across from one of these men and the crowd is roaring, thunderous. Why? Because it is one behemoth going up against a new incoming behemoth who didn't lose the NXT title.
Wait, but
vacated it.
What percentage of fans are actually going to care about that? Let's be honest.
I mean, genuinely thinking about it, look at it this way. I don't know if you saw Trick Williams on SmackDown last night interrupted Randy Orton.
I did.
The whole Berlin crowd was out here genuinely chanting "Whoop that Trick" during his entrance.
No, I heard it. I'm just saying, like, losing, not being pinned versus vacating. I don't think fans, when he's standing across from the people you mentioned, they're not going to be thinking, oh wow, he vacated, he didn't drop it. No,
I mean, I feel like I understand it to a degree, Chris, but I feel like I'm gonna have to disagree with that because
that's fair.
Look at Asuka again. That for me, that's the best example because she had a crazy undefeated streak. Okay, she vacated the NXT Women's title, and then when she moved up to the main roster, what happened? The booking was so insane that she walked into her first Royal Rumble and won the whole damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So there was an aura behind Asuka. There was a sense of grandeur behind her being what she did at NXT. You can count the same thing for Obafemi. So I feel like that's the calling behind them. You notice now how Gunther is walking around saying, I made John Cena tap like a little bit. Yeah, and you sit there, it's like that's what
with
he
the
carries
t-shirt.
No, with the t-shirt and all.
Yes.
Even though I think I'm going to buy the t-shirt, I'm not going to lie to you.
You're going to disagree with me. If you're going to disagree with me, tell Nate to shut up for trying to interrupt you.
Nate, shut up!
Of course. I'll give you one better. It's also the same thing that happened with Solo. Remember, Solo was North American champion. They brought him to the main roster and they made him vacate the belt. So it's not the same as far as Solo wasn't like getting world title shots or whatever, but it's still main roster, vacate a belt. He didn't quote unquote lose it, and it can bring a lot of intrigue to a particular wrestler when they're on the main roster. So I think that the way it works, and even more so, just going on how the fans react to Oba's name, because during the commercial breaks in at the Barclays Center, they showed that same vignette that they've been showing of Obafemi whenever he's going to show up on the main roster, and the entire crowd popped. So I believe that the fans are waiting for Oba. It's not as if they haven't done a decent job of promoting him. I think enough of the WWE fans have seen Oba in NXT to know what he can do. And I think that they're ready for him on the main roster, whichever roster they put him on. And it's kind of pointing towards probably SmackDown.
I can agree with that. Well, look, that marks the end of Three Rope Talk here on Same. Peeps, we're going to go ahead and move into our ratings now.
Yes.
For this past week. Peeps, give us the ratings.
And for the first time, the ratings are actually up to date. I'll give
come, right?
Yes, exactly. I'll give you last week's ratings because they finally came in, and then that'll be the end of the ratings for 2025. Last week, NXT won 604,000 with a 0.07 in the demo, and AEW did its lowest rating ever as far as most watched. 398,000 people with a 0.07 in the demo. That makes it 48 weeks that NXT had beaten AEW in the ratings.
Wait, Peeps, hold on. Let me get this straight. This is the show where MJF finally showed up after winning the AEW World's title at World's End.
Yes.
You did
300.
I digress.
I don't defend them often, but New Year's Eve, okay, a lot of people.
College football, you got a point.
And the you who, I need to shut up because I was wrong about Indiana and Miami. Now they're going to play for the national championship. None
yes, sir! All about the U, baby. All about the U.
Yeah, I can't kill that rating. We need to let's hear what Nate said about this past Wednesday. Let's see how they rebound.
Yes.
I don't even know.
Now, the rebound this week, much better. And the ratings go as follows. NXT won first week of the year, 627,000 with a 0.10 in the demo. AEW bounced back 516,000 with a 0.08 in the ratings. So that holiday football, sports, etc., that was the aberration.
Well, I guess we can now make the inference that there are 200,000 AEW fans who watch weekly that are bigger fans of college football. I guess that's the inference that we can make, right? But
no, it was really only 120,000 difference,
roughly.
Roughly.
I mean, okay. Oh, let's play the game. We haven't done it in a little while.
Where did Mr. 411 turn off
Dynamite? Nate, you take it. Go first.
Would it be the match with Moxley and Shelton Benjamin?
Ding, 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 ding.
How did I figure?
Wait, can I tell you something? Can I tell you why I turned it off? I watched 30 seconds of the match, but it wasn't even about the match itself. It was about the thought that I detest Moxley so much that I knew he was going to win. And I feel like Shelton Benjamin shouldn't lose to this guy. And it bothered me. And I went, click.
Yes, I understand. And also the fact that I'm still trying to understand why the champion is coming out first and having a quote-unquote eliminator match to determine who's going to be. If you win or you go to a draw, that person is going to eventually get a title shot. So the concept of that is it's one thing. But yeah, that was really, really odd for that.
Oh, how did he beat him, by the way? Did he choke him out?
I believe he choked him. Did he choke him out? I think he choked him out. Yeah, I think he choked him out. Yeah.
What a joke.
Yeah.
This guy's one of the worst workers ever.
And then after the match was over, they shook hands, I guess, because Moxley, I guess he's a face, I'm guessing, or giving respect to Shelton Benjamin at the end of the match when the match was over. Before they went to the next segment, he offered his hand to Shelton Benjamin and they shook hands, and then Shelton left the ring. So, yeah.
Great. Now Shelton Benjamin has hepatitis C.
Oh, good grief. Oh, boy.
Christopher Morton, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. You can't go wrong with the man. But yes. I know that there have been a lot more that has happened. Look, in particular, the Elite versus the Demand. The Bucks actually going ahead and getting their theme music back, going ahead and being the Bucks. You have Bandito, who went up against Sammy Guevara. I have to say that match was good.
That was actually a pretty good match. Yes,
that was a really good match. But indeed, Dynamite had to bounce back. I'm actually glad about that. That's good. But I guess we have to go ahead and look forward, because this is the last week where we only report NXT and AEW ratings, because starting next week, we will now be reporting TNA ratings, guys.
Yes.
First TNA show happening Thursday on AMC. And I'm hearing that they actually announced that AJ Styles will be on that show to begin the pilot of TNA Impact making its return. But what do we think is going to be the number? Chris, I'll ask you first. What do you think is going to be the opening number for TNA?
Man, I don't know how well they're promoting it. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I feel like WWE should have purchased. Did you see it on SmackDown last night? Was there a commercial about it?
No, there wasn't.
So WWE is still working with them. I feel like they should be, especially with AJ on the show, we should see a commercial. I know we won't get one on Netflix, but definitely on USA. We should get a commercial on CW next week before, because both shows will air. I shouldn't say that. No, SmackDown will not air, obviously. But the CW, they should be buying more ads to get people to know that it's going to be on. And I would love to say 350 would be a good number. I don't know what their expectations are. So what do you guys think?
I'm hoping it's nowhere near 100. I would say, to be realistic, I would think maybe 250 to start.
If they can get the same numbers that Collision gets, which is roughly between 215 and 250, somewhere in that neighborhood, on a Thursday night for a show that has not had a legitimate network in years.
God knows how long. Jeez.
Yes. So if they can do something like that, I think that the fans would be happy to get them that much more exposure and see where they go from there. Because I think that's what they're in it for.
Now that the title's been vacated, will the title be crowned that night? Are we getting a match to determine the champ? Which it should be the case.
You know what? That's a good idea. They haven't announced.
I believe so. I mean, wasn't the last show with Santana actually having a contract signing with Frankie Kazarian?
So that's the match for the title.
I believe so.
I think so. I believe so. Because that's supposed to be the first. I believe, because because pretty much Santana even went out and did a promo during that signing, and he even went along the lines to even speak about how him and Kazarian were in AEW,
and
Right.
how AEW ripped the passion out of wrestling for the both of them, and they had to recreate themselves coming to TNA. So I believe it's a triple threat from what I know.
Joe
Nemeth,
Henry?
I think is Nemeth.
Oh.
Nemeth. So
Yeah.
Nick Nemeth is in that match. So
Okay.
yeah, see, even Corey Richmond, Corey DeBray, he even
Kaz,
says,
Nemeth, and Santana.
yeah. So pretty much, yeah. So triple threat for the TNA World Title. That's the main event of the show, and I believe so. Like, look, it begins something new. But I think maybe Santana walks out as champion. That's my thought process. But yeah, a title match is main eventing the show. So
Is it it's a 1 or 2 hour show?
It's 2 hours. I believe.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the 1 hour show. You get so much in 1 hour, and it just means more. Maybe then go to 2 hours. I don't love these 2 hours.
Who knows? Commercials take over everything in cable now, man.
It's sit through 3 hours of SmackDown, which I can't do.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, back to NXT.
9 to 11. How about that?
Okay.
Jeez, a wrestling show starting at 9. I can't be mad at that.
Not to be confused with whatchamacallit. Oh, NXT. What do we think? Who will be the next champion there with Oba vacating?
I'm thinking Ricky Saints.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Rick's going to, begin the next revolution, because if we heard what Abel was talking about at the end of the show, once, Rob Stone had came in there and he was like, did you just see what Oba did? Prior to that, she was talking to pretty much guys out of Evolve, women out of Evolve, all the other women within the NXT roster, and she was talking about how, with Trick and, Jordan Grace and all these different other stars leaving
and
NXT.
Javon signing with Raw. So
exactly. That brings the opening for new talent to be able to rise to the occasion. But now with Oba being gone, it only leaves Ricky Saints there to be able to carry the mantle into the next generation of NXT stars to possibly get onto the WWE main roster.
Not Joe Hendry? Not Joe Hendry?
Chris, I hate you, man.
Right.
Or a name that they could throw out there that would further add to the mystique of this person, and that could be Ethan Page. For all of the things that he's done, it could be something they could throw back in there, even though he's already got the North American Championship.
You're right.
That would be something that could be looked at, considering he's probably the best heel in NXT right now.
By the way, I just confused my brands. I said Obafemi had dropped the title, which would lead to a TNA, because they work together. I forget who has what title and which brand, so I apologize. My mistake.
Yeah,
you're good, Chris.
No
worries, man. Don't worry about it. But look, that marks the end of our ratings here on Same. But look, guys, if you ever want to keep up with all the latest social media news and updates when it comes to the world of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event, all you got to do is follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram being at Saturday Afternoons_Main Event, Twitter being Saturday Main, and of course our TikTok, where we also post memes for your enjoyment, being Saturday Afternoons ME. With that being said, let's go ahead.
Like and subscribe.
Indeed. Yes. Appreciate it, Chris. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our question of the day. Now, look, guys, of course, if we ever want to go ahead and get into our question of the day /week, we're looking for the best question. You want to go ahead and put that question out to us. If you feel like it's good and we feel like it's good, we're going to go ahead and do one thing. Put it on the show. So if you have a question for us, all you got to do is DM us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons_Main Event. Send in the question. And again, if it's that damn good, in the words of Triple H, well, just like JBL would say, I guarantee it'll be on the next episode of the show. This week's question comes from Hot Rod 316. He says, who's the most overpushed wrestler ever, in your opinion?
Ever.
We can go back a lot. Shoot,
I can say Roman Reigns before he became Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon shoved Roman Reigns down everybody's throat every chance that he got.
Suffering succotash, son.
Yes. And
that shit, man?
we had to go through the Shield. We had to go through the constant main events with him and Brock and the other main events. We had to go through the dog food phase with him and Baron Corbin. We had to go through a lot of chaff before we got to the Roman Reigns that we enjoy right now. So yeah, I can say that would be one of them, one of the big ones that can in recent time.
You're not gonna say Van Hammer?
Why? You know, Corey puts out a good one. He says Lex Luger.
Those early '90s WCW experimental days when business was really down and they didn't know who to give.
You know what? How about this one? Diesel.
That works. They tried to push him during the time when the WWE business model was not working at all, and he had the belt for the full year.
Tuna sandwich merchant. Nobody was eating steak back in those days.
Yeah,
the locker room had to eat tuna sandwiches for those minutes. Look, yes. I'm just stating the truth here. But yeah, I can throw that in there. Master Sharpie, he even answers. He says Jeff Jarrett in TNA. That's a good one. That is another good one.
Yeah.
Shoot. You know, I'm loving these ones, man. I'm loving these. Oh, jeez. Here comes Uncle Triple C chiming in for the first time today. He says the most overpushed wrestler is that deadbeat. He's not a real father. He never ends, man. Like, come on. First time popping in, you're gonna go ahead and say Rey Mysterio of all people.
You would think he had a vendetta against this guy the way he sounds.
I'll give you one because I hate the guy, and I know you quote him just before this. JBL. I never understood that part.
You know that's another good one. I have to say that's another good one.
Yeah.
Because genuinely, JBL worked as a heel during the Ruthless Aggression era. You know, it worked. Not to say that I feel like it was needed, if that makes sense. You know, I feel like anybody else could have replaced that heel position and it would have made more sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is. Ronda. That's a good one.
That's another
If we
that's
think
another
about
one.
it, Ronda. Some people might even say Charlotte Flair. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, geez, Master Sean adds in John Moxley and Orange Cassidy. Chris, how do you know about this?
Those are some pretty good ones, especially the Moxley one. I think a lot of people look at Moxley was like, well, when he left WWE, let's see what he does with AEW. And the first year, so it was pretty good. This current incarnation of Moxley for a lot of people is just a bit much.
Okay, so are we going to say Chris Jericho in 2024 as well? Like, what are we doing? You know?
Yeah.
The learning tree. The learning
tree. The learning tree was
the learning tree.
I was not sitting
the Jericho Appreciation Society.
That wasn't as bad.
Hi, guys.
Yes.
The learning tree was far worse.
The learning tree was terrible. Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, geez. I actually enjoyed the Jericho Appreciation Society. The learning tree was just
except for him and MJF singing the whole sing dance.
Oh yeah, the Pinnacle Broadway hour. Yeah, I remember that one.
Did we really have to include that? Oh man.
Yes.
I digress.
Yeah.
How about
there you go. Yes, the Phenomenal One and I ripped that apart when we had to talk about that on the show. Like we like this was terrible. This was terrible.
Whoever thought AEW can actually mimic sports entertainment, don't you know, guys, stick to actually putting on good professional wrestling.
Yes.
Jeez. Underpushed Monty Brown.
You want to know something? That's not a bad pick because Monty Brown was a star until he had to kind of back out. The worst thing that possibly happened to him was when he went to WWE. And they gave him that horrible name as Marcus Carvon.
Oh, God.
That was terrible.
You know, we talk about underpushed a lot.
Yes.
What about Ken Anderson? Mr. Kennedy. I feel like this man should have won world title.
Wait. But tell me why he didn't. Tell me what was the biggest knock on him and a lot of things.
Wasn't it politics because of Randy and Cena?
Yes and no. There were other issues too.
It was politics in injuring wrestlers.
Yes,
and I think that was the main issue.
Yes.
Now the Orton thing was messed up. that was between the Orton issue. Then at the same time, because we remember Orton was already hurt going into that 6-man or 8-man match in Denver, Colorado for that Raw. But even more so, it was much more John Cena. I think Orton went to Cena or Orton went to McMahon, and then Cena kind of backed him up on that. And that's kind of where that whole, we don't need Mr. Anderson around with that push. So that's kind of what hurt him.
Okay, so within the same sense, I remember he was telling a story about right after he won Mr. Money in the Bank in 07 at Mania 23.
Yes.
The reason they took it off him was because the wellness policy, of course, post Benoit was pretty strict. And I guess he took aspirin and they had that be a problem. So they stripped him of the Money in the Bank. And of course had off of aspirin. Yup. And then they gave it to Edge. And that's why Edge would later cash it in on Taker, which that would have been Kennedy's spot right there. So I mean, genuinely for me, I feel like that was probably the most missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Everything that happened after, especially with the Orton and Cena stuff, I feel like okay, that is a situation within itself, but that should have never happened. You know what I'm saying? So
also remember that big push that they were going to give him, that storyline of who was Mr. McMahon's son. And then they eventually changed it from Mr. Kennedy to Hornswoggle, and they turned it into a giant comedy act. So,
oh my God.
But that was to be set up to push him through the roof, and that was a blown opportunity from where it was. And true, Mr. Anderson, as he went to TNA and won the TNA World Title twice, so he did rebound, but he was never really the same as the push that he got when he was in the WWE.
Yeah, I agree. And he also adds overpushed Raven in TNA. Do we really talk about that run? There's a reason we don't bring up that run.
Raven is one of the great minds in the business. It's just unfortunate that we're looking at it from the sense of him being overpushed when he was in TNA.
True.
All right, that wraps up the Corey Richmond segment. Let's move on.
But that was
a good question.
That was a great question. It seemed like it opened up a lot of intrigue for everyone. But Hot Rod 316, thank you for that, my friend. Again, guys, you want to be on the show, you want to deliver a question, all you got to do is one thing only. DM us on our Instagram at Saturday Afternoon _main event. Send it in, and in the words of JBL, I guarantee it'll be on the next episode of the show if it is that damn good. Now, look, last topic for today. Of course, we talked about Drew McIntyre being WWE champion now. Perfect. What does that leave for Cody, though? A lot of people are saying that they don't care. Some individuals are saying he can go ahead and take a sabbatical. Well, in all reality, me and Peeps sat there and talked this morning, and there are thoughts in our head that this can only lead to one thing and one thing only. Cody Rhodes will turn heel. There's no other way you can possibly have this happen than now. Here's my reasoning, and I'm going to go ahead and give this to you very quickly. He lost the title because of an interference from Jacob Fatu. Now, he's left without a title. Now, individuals are happy that Drew is now champion, and there are a whole bunch of other people going ahead and fighting for that top spot for the world title. To the point where now, starting next week's SmackDown, they're going to have qualifying tournaments, matches for the WWE title.
Oh, goddamn.
Perfect.
Yes.
You know, and the thing is, even better, all of the individuals that we were mentioning before that have been telling Cody we're gunning for the title, they're going to be in those matches. Now, we're seeing how the evolution of individuals from NXT coming up to the main roster, how it's getting handled and how it's getting situated. People are actually gravitating toward these stars. Trick, in the last 2 weeks that he's been out there, has been doing a good job. Randy's trying to make a comeback at it. Cardona is trying to set himself foot into the main event attraction of trying to go ahead and get the world title in his possession. Drew now holding. I got that one. But you see what I'm trying to say here. What if Cody is forgotten about? What if Cody does choose to take a sabbatical? What if Cody doesn't show up until probably Royal Rumble. Gets into the Rumble, bam, loses it. But let's say there's another individual in the Rumble who loses it as well, who doesn't get the chance to go ahead and go on the main event WrestleMania. That's Roman Reigns. Let's say one probably, who knows, eliminates the other. And then what do you have? You now have those individuals back on that collision course that they were on 2 years back. What does that lead for us? That leads for us to go into what we consider Act 3. The real rubber match, right? To determine who goes over within all feuds, okay? Roman won the first one. Cody won the second one. Now, without a title in place, but both of these two men have implications of wanting to be WWE champion again. Roman, Cody, WrestleMania, co-main event, not the main event, but co-main event, number one contenders match. One of those two men can go on to go ahead and face, whether it be Drew McIntyre once it comes out of it, as WWE champion. Roman ends up beating Cody. Cody, like everyone would expect them to do, shake Roman's hand, leave the ring. We don't hear from Cody for about a good 2-3 months. Roman then goes ahead and walks into SummerSlam as a contender for the title. Right? He wants to be able to win this without the help of the bloodline. What if Triple H does what he always does and what he's been doing for the last year and a half? Brings in a masked man, costs Roman the match. Match is over. The masked man continues to attack Roman, then delivers a crossroads. And as he removes hoodie and mask, it is revealed to be Cody Rhodes. And what can you do from there? Cody can go on SmackDown that following night or that following week, and he can sit there and he can say, I was gone for this long. You people are fickle because you guys chose to go ahead and overlook me and begin gravitating towards the other talent. I'm the QB1. I'm the one that helped us go ahead and get that deal on Netflix. I was the one that went ahead and catapulted us into the first WrestleMania on the Netflix era. I was the one that was holding everything down when John Cena's heel run was abysmal to some of you individuals. I was the one that was champion when you guys were going ahead and sitting here and calling everything else a facade. I was the one spearheading all of this. You guys should be gravitating towards me. In comes Cody Lander era part 1. That's my thought process. I feel that this should only mean that they pull the plug and allow Cody Rhodes to turn heel. There's no other way that you go ahead and keep him as a face. This stuff isn't working. We know that it's not working. Hence, the ratings that SmackDown gets on a weekly consistent basis, where it drops consistently, fluctuates where it doesn't even get back over from what we would think would be like, 1.5? You would think it would go ahead and do 1.5 million. It can't even go ahead and hit 1.2 on certain Fridays. They need something fresh. And what I think is something fresh is if they allow Cody to step into that arc. It would only make sense, especially the closing scene of SmackDown. The way that you saw Cody staring down with the camera pointed at him, it just seemed like something shifted in his head. The only way they go from there is having Cody Rhodes turn heel later this year. Chris, do you feel that way?
And it culminates with him winning the title as a heel.
Yes, but not only just as a heel, but by also rebooting the Nightmare Family. We know the biggest heat magnet for Cody is Brandy.
Mm-hmm.
Why not have Brandy come in as his valet now? Not only that, begin to rebuild the Nightmare Family by having certain people join in, like a Ricky Starks coming up from the main roster, like a Matt Cardona. Hey, if Arn's deal is up at AEW, why not WWE want to add Arn Anderson to a Legends deal? Which
Sean
not only
Spears.
helps Arn, Sean Spears.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
There you
and
go.
now you have a bloodline-esque faction within the WWE running roughshod through SmackDown. And Cody Rhodes, still acting as QB1, but now as the biggest heel in the game. How
And
better can it possibly
is that your
get?
Survivor Series then? Them against somebody?
Why not the Bloodline?
Right.
Why not? Because I don't think the MFTs last long. You know, I don't think the MFTs will be going up against them. No, absolutely not. But I do think the Bloodline can stand up against them. It would make total sense. And it would still point back to Roman having to go against his biggest rival, Cody Rhodes.
And that's the one thing that he couldn't escape, because remember, all the people that are interconnected. Because listen, we talked about this about an hour, almost an hour and a half earlier today. And we were just going over, just spitballing ideas if this was to actually work.
Yes.
And the one thing that you go ahead and you talk about is how everybody continues to lean on that nepotism, lean on the fact that the only reason why you're here, the only reason why you've gotten as far as you have is because your last name is Rhodes. He can use that as the motivation. Everybody keeps doing what they've been doing. The Rock did it. Mcintyre did it. Roman has done it. We even know Heyman has done it. As far as getting and leaning on that nerve that would make somebody snap. Also, we also can see that knowing how they would be booking this, you now have built-in matchups with people that he has befriended along the lines that would be quite pissed off, like a Sami Zayn. Jey Uso, who he was tag team champions with, interconnected with the Bloodline through that whole Shield ideal. And maybe down the road at some point, whenever healthy or whatever is the case, Seth Rollins comes in to interject somewhere down the road. So you have all of these different ancillary pieces connected to this one story that would work to freshen up SmackDown's main storyline. You get something fresh in there and it would definitely work. There are two things that would have to happen. Obviously, I think they would have to change Cody's music because the fans have been so accustomed to Kingdom, even though when he was in Ring of Honor and when he was in New Japan, he used Kingdom as a heel then. I think that the thought process would be something a little more dark, but a little more personal as entrance music to freshen up the presentation. And like you said, bring in Brandy on his arm all the time, because he can then talk about that and bring that up. My family has been interjected into this. Let's see where it goes from there. And I'm going to represent the Rhodes name the way it should be.
Indeed.
I think a big factor that would lead up to this and make more sense of it is if when he's doing this run going against whether it's Roman or the Royal Rumble and into WrestleMania, if he's getting booed.
Yes.
And it starts to get louder and louder, where if he does wrestle Roman at WrestleMania, as you mentioned, where the fans completely turn on him, then it's justified. Then Triple H has to pull the trigger on it.
Yes. And the one emotional match out of all of the guys that we've talked about, there are a couple of wrestlers that he can get in the ring with that would get an emotional response. One obviously would be Jey Uso, but the other one would be Randy Orton. Because the fans would look at that as probably, of all the match types that you can bring in, would be the most personal out of the wrestlers that are on the roster, considering what Cody has been over the last 2 or so years in the WWE. You build that up, you get the audience involved, you get that together, and you've got yourself a real big heel turn that can last quite some time, because you know the payoff isn't so much what happens here, it's the redemption arc afterwards to build Cody back at some point.
Exactly.
Well, here's a thought too, because if he does the whole thing at the end where he shakes or doesn't shake Roman's hand, turns on him and beats him up, he could come back and apologize from that, saying he snapped. It would take someone else that the fans love for him to do it again, to make it even more that he is officially snapped and gone heel versus him just having a crash out moment.
Yes. You can have him do that against Sami Zayn.
Right.
You can have him do that against Jey Uso. Like, obviously, Jey being one half of the tag team champs. So at some point down the road, they have some kind of a match for whatever the cost is. And something happens there. And you kind of tease that along, but you don't tease it to make it obvious. You tease it so that you can say, you know what, I didn't think of that. That happened 2 weeks ago. Oh, that happened the last time they fought. And you bring that in and you slowly meld it into the eventual turn.
I agree. But look, we have the next 12 months to see what unfolds.
Yes.
Hopefully, our thought process may be correct. Because I don't think there's any other hotter moment to go ahead and pull the plug and allow him to be heel than now. But we'll just have to kick back and wait and see. But there's one thing that is certain. Again, pro wrestling is about to hit a renaissance.
Yes.
And there's no other better place to go ahead and sit here and talk about it than here on Saturday afternoon's main event. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that's all the time we have today. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Same. We'll definitely be back next week to talk all things professional wrestling, all things within the squared circle, all promotions, and better yet, Chris will be here to go ahead and continue to stir the pot.
Congratulations to Tanahashi, by the way, for his retirement match. But
don't you're gonna get Chris started. He's already lost. I know it. I just know what's about it. Oh my god.
We do have to watch. We have to watch the TNA show. We do have to watch.
Yes.
Yes, we do have to. More wrestling for us, right?
Yes.
Which one are we cutting off our list this week, boys? I already know Chris is saying fuck Wednesdays. I get it. It's okay, my friend. I understand.
No, until they make you turn it off, I'll watch.
There you go.
Turn it off. Okay, over under 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Wait. That's not fair. A couple weeks ago, they got me through a full show until another Moxley match appeared.
Okay, so just don't put Moxley on the goddamn show. How about that?
There you go.
But, guys, we'll definitely see you next week. Just remember, this was Same. We're out of Phenomenal One.
And I, the Peeps Nate.
And I, Mr. 411.
Yes, where we came.
We saw.
And in the words of the great Paul Heyman, we conquered.
Perfect. We conquered. See you next week for another episode of Same. Phenomenal One, Peeps Nate, Mr. 411. This was Same. Peace, love, farewell.